Welcome to the official AFL Fantasy podcast with the Traders.
G'day with the Traders. Thanks to Sportsbet, I'm Roy. I coach Destroy, and I'm here with Warnie.
Coach of the Warn Dogs.
And Calvin.
Coach of dead Calvin at all.
You were revived, though.
I was revived, but I was
Unbelievable.
out.
You
on
were
the
down and
canvas. Out on the canvas, cold.
I
Roy.
watched you come back to life.
I did, didn't I?
Round 8 even was one for the books. It was just one of those
had
weekends
everything.
that had absolutely everything.
Didn't it?
And mostly negative.
Mostly negative.
And it far out. It was,
Some stood tall, though, just
Some
to
did.
get people back
They
off the
did,
canvas.
yep.
And rub salt into the wound for non-owners, I
Yep.
might actually add.
definitely.
Yeah, go on.
One of those weekends, which is where we'll start. We all managed to scrape over 2,000 just.
Yeah.
But it wasn't...
It felt like a big milestone this week, to be
Yeah,
honest.
we needed a few more points, though, to call it even a par weekend for
Wasn't
us
a par,
in the end. But
no.
Calvinator, you're at the bottom end there.
2001. I got
At least you got there.
a late
Celebrating your
Zorko
40th birthday.
handball. A late Zorko handball to get me into that. But I dropped about 800 spots in rank, which is okay considering.
It
So
was a hell round.
I had the Rozee incident on Thursday night.
Yes.
And I was like, that's a weekend wrecker.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm done.
Couldn't
Couldn't get any worse.
Right? Then I had Tom Green,
Yep.
right?
Come on.
And I was like, I'm done. I'm legit done.
That's
right?
done.
Then Max is a captain, but he saved it late, so I was okay with
Still
that.
sucked,
But still
but-
sucked.
Elliot Yeo
And
that
then
night.
Yowie that night, and then all of a sudden, people were like, wouldn't it be funny if Fife got vested? Well, no, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't be funny.
Not funny, ha ha.
No. So then,
I laughed.
Yeah, you did. You know who else had a laugh? Seth Campbell coming on to cover it.
Oh, well, he outscored him at
He
least.
had a laugh. Anyway, so I scraped, and I'm going to say legit scraped, but I'll get to the +3 in a minute because there was one guy, Roy, who tried his best to get me to 2,000.
Certainly did.
2029 for the Warn Dogs. 1 point behind Destroy with his 2030.
Yeah.
We both slid about 200 spots from where we were.
Yes. So avoided disaster given the amount of carnage that I copped.
Hang
but
on.
Down to 672.
Hang on. How many bullets did you cop, dog?
I've got some.
Give me one.
Oh, my trades? No.
Who'd you get?
Whitfield? You should have a good player like
He
him.
played a full game. That's done.
Yeah, I know, and scored 48.
No Rozee.
That's not a bullet.
No
dog.
Rozee. No Green.
I've got Elliot Yeo, like everyone else does.
Everyone's got Elliot.
So I don't even know.
don't know.
if
Yeah,
I'm allowed
exactly.
to call. Oh,
He's got-
actually.
that's not a bullet. Yo's not a bullet. That's a blessing.
Well,
It's probably 2 rounds. We got 2 more rounds out of him
Yeah,
than we thought
because
we
your
would.
people are now
if you had
moving
nothing
him.
else,
Yes.
it's a beautiful time
Now he
to upgrade.
turns into a primo
Can
midfielder.
No, I need clarification on this because I've said Warnie's not allowed to call Whitfield a bullet. That was just one
No.
of your players going bad.
Bad, yep.
But I think I'm now in that same boat because I've been calling Caldwell a bullet. He got subbed off,
Yep.
and now I don't know if it was for injury or
Find out
crapness.
about that a little bit later.
Ooh, dog's been digging.
Here I have been saying that's a bullet, and I don't know anymore.
Fair enough.
I just had a heap of average players, and that's just about what my team is.
Here it is! That's what you did, Jenny. You stuck it right up them.
Calvinator.
Zork on your fork! Zork on your fork! Come on!
Wow.
Okay, I'll break it down. 184.
Stop
Roy?
it.
That's
Stop
40
it.
touches, 16 marks, 16 marks, 5 tackles. He had a 74-point second quarter. That's more than most of my players.
That's more than he had last week.
16 kicks. Yes, it is. 16 kicks, 8 marks. He went pig.
You are a very lucky man.
Oh, mega luck. That's so lucky. That's 80 points more than what I want.
Even the
About
fact,
120
Yes.
more than last week.
I know.
even the fact that he couldn't go off for a rest.
Yep.
Yep.
He just stayed out there.
And they just wanted
this is a bit
possession
of-
football.
Maybe this is a bit of an eye-opener, though, for some teams. You don't need all these rests all the time throughout the game.
No.
Goodness me. Well done, though.
And
I was actually cheering for a 200. As a
I know you
non-owner.
were. He'll be $1 million soon. He will be $1 million soon.
It's ridiculous.
Let that sink in.
Sell high.
35-year-old.
Zork on your fork. Woo!
Right, risk versus reward.
Friday night.
Wow.
Nick Daicos and that winning
Oh,
goal
stop.
was so good because A, it was against Carlton, but B, 122 points I got out of him. He was absolutely brilliant, and it was nice to see a great score on a weekend of carnage.
3 weeks of the -3.
He finally listened.
That used to mean that you had to get traded, one of our unwritten rules. But Brayshaw, thank goodness, he actually... Remember last week he had -2 in the last quarter?
Yep.
Well, he had over 40 this week, and he got a 125, which, believe it or not, is his first 100 for me.
Wow.
+3,
There
Brayshaw.
you go.
It was the most disgraceful display I've ever seen.
Because it's just not acceptable.
Well, Whitfield, it's not acceptable
No,
to
it's not.
just not be able to do anything out there. I know it was a little bit wet and all that sort of stuff. Mate, you did cop a bit of attention from James Jordan, but
that's-
48.
That's the game, isn't it? You got a man
You got
up
to
on
still
me.
try to get some of
Yes,
these
more
marks,
often
old
than
boy.
not, you get to run around and
Yes.
do whatever you want like
Yeah.
a seagull.
Yeah.
Sometimes other seagulls want that chip,
Yep.
or they're going to stop you getting to that chip.
I'm going to put a little flag on this. Once tagged, coaches start looking at this now and going, we can shut him down just by standing someone next to him. Are you kidding me?
And they lost too.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Could happen again, dog. Could happen again.
Oh, well, at least I got some luxury trays to use this week. I might
That's
just get it out. Will I? Is that what I do?
That is
Roy,
true.
who have you got?
Oh, this is easy. And look, I got to say, I flagged it for non-owners last week who were looking to buy into this. 2 weeks ago, McRae had the worst 90 that I've ever seen. He took like 7 marks without leading for one of them.
Yep.
He was literally puffing on the spot and they kicked it at him and he marked it. Well, against Hawthorn, where he should have been able to take his stationary marks, his head was hanging so low that they didn't even kick it to him. He was appalling. It looked like a real effort to be out there, like someone made him play and he didn't want to play. And he'd mope to contest doing nothing. -3, awful pickup by us a couple of weeks ago, and we're stuck with it. Cow, you actually bought into it, didn't you?
Yeah, well, Matty Ash summed it up really well last night for us. He said his head was so far tilted, it's basically just dragging him on the ground
was.
behind him.
That's
He
the
doesn't
problem.
even watch the ball.
No.
He's,
No.
it's so hard to watch.
So where he used to, remember the commentary, like they used to get Friday night games and it used to be, he's on this streak of 430 possession games in a row and he used to hunt.
Yep.
Now he doesn't hunt anything other than a rest on the bench. And he gets lots of them.
Yeah.
And he's racking those up really well. But his head... Now, people that think body language and that isn't part of the game...
Champion Dave's got to do something about it.
Big time. It's not only tilting to the side in frustration anymore. It was hanging so low, like literally looking at his boots, going contest to contest.
Yep.
Complete hassle to be out there.
Not good.
No.
Right, my turn. I'm going to start on Thursday night.
Okay.
Because if you're not okay to play, don't play.
Yeah.
You lost that game because you were like, yeah, I'm right, coach. Coach, I'm okay.
Yeah.
You can run around and pretend that you're right. I don't care. Connor Rozee wanted to captain in his first showdown game.
Yes.
Selfish, right?
Yeah.
And that's not a word I
It's
throw around
understandable.
very lightly.
It's understandable that he wanted to.
Yes.
Of course he wanted
Yep.
to.
So,
But can you?
but then Ken comes along.
Yeah.
You're right, Connor. Yeah, I'm right. Yep, right. In you come, right? You've got to, at some point, put your foot down and go, mate, we dragged you the other week because you hurt your hamstring. That was 6 days ago.
Yeah.
6 days ago. If you're not right to play, don't play.
No.
It's as simple as that.
So Ken, he nearly went to fantasy favourite coach.
Yep.
He used to be.
A couple of
He
weeks
used to be
ago.
getting the
Yep.
3 votes back in the day as well.
This year, he's had probably 3 bad blips.
So-
And this is the biggest one.
Is he a doctor? Is Ken a doctor?
I don't know.
Well, Ken-
Is Connor a doctor?
Do they have a doctor?
I don't know.
Ken took some responsibility for it, and this is what he said in the presser afterwards.
Hi, everybody.
This is what Ken said.
And the power of hindsight's a very powerful thing. Do you guys think you made a mistake playing Connor Rozee tonight?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I made a mistake playing Connor Rozee tonight. That was clear. It was obvious. All the testing that we done, all the medical support we could get, all the information I could get was Connor was able to, and I seen it with my own eyes. He was actually able to run as fast as he needed to, kick as long as he needed to. But once fatigue set in tonight, it was clear. And you can be. I can try and hide behind it, but I'm not coward when it comes to owning a mistake, and that was what it was.
V8's a coward.
Yep, Michael.
So is it worse now? Same issue?
It's no worse. It's no worse, but it's the same issue, which would suggest to me that if he had the week off, he would be better the next week. So.
Do you think it played on his mind in some way? Like we saw him like a couple of, I think he was virtually only handballed, and a couple of times he had 2 kicks smothered. Do you feel like he had a mental impact on him as well?
I let Connor down by letting him play.
Oh, you let him down?
That would impact anyone.
What was his say in the lead up to the game?
He thought he was absolutely right to play.
He's wrong.
And as I said, if you watched him run, and it's hard not to believe and not to be sure that that was the case. And he was flat out. 2 days in a row, no problems at all. And kicking the ball, I watched him yesterday, kick the ball from 60 metres and have shots at goal. I've seen all the things you needed to see. I should have better history. I should have known that.
Well, use your brain.
That was
one or the other.
Perhaps going to happen. And I set Connor up to fail as a player.
And your coaches.
By the way, he had to perform out there.
At what point did you realise there was a problem tonight?
After half time.
Oh, 6 days ago. Come on.
In respect,
He couldn't get to top speed, and he was reluctant to kick. That's what I seen, and that's what I asked him when he came off.
That's why I asked him when he came on. Hey, Connor, are you reluctant to kick? Oh, I am at the moment. That is just the biggest load of rubbish I've ever seen.
Poor management.
Oh, Roy.
So hang on a second.
Cooked you, V8.
But so does he get? Why does the coach get final say? Surely the medical team get final say on the health of a player, don't they? Does the coach really get to overrule that?
Unless he's got a degree.
Who are you blaming then, V8?
I'm blaming the biggest one to blame.
Yeah.
It has to be Ken.
Right.
Has to be Ken.
Zach Ken.
Yep. And Bevo. We'll get to that.
So, okay. So Ken was thinking it must have been cramping the week before, basically, was it? Nothing there. Because nothing to do with your hamstring is better in 6 days.
No.
So I sent out for people to
Except
send in a few Rosees are red, violets are blue, because people, they needed to vent.
Yeah.
Okay. And I got some really abusive ones back that aren't really appropriate for the podcast.
Yeah.
There are a couple already on our Instagram.
Yeah, there's
at AFL Fantasy.
A couple of good ones there.
They were good.
Emily sent in Rosies are red, violets are blue. Forget Cal having to eat one elephant. Looks like he'll be eating 2.
That's good.
That's not bad. But this is my favourite one, and it's sort of off topic here. Ringer Rosies, a hamstring full of poses. An issue, we all hate Ken.
I like that.
Well, thanks for the support, guys. But, that's the easiest negative 3. So I'm actually probably giving it more to Ken than Connor.
Hi, everybody.
Right, good on you, Dr. Ken. All right. Well, the weekend that did see a bit of movement in the fantasy ranks. At the top, we do have a new leader now.
Ooh.
So get out of the kiln. Dropped a few spots. Even had a decent enough score. But a big score of 22.76 pushed Baden's team, Bandits of Barbados, up into first spot now. So a huge effort there. And Drop Kickers, Paul's team, had a good score too. They're right up there. But we did see some big ones, including fourth place. Or now fourth place, that's Mike Switkowski, 2,300.
23!
And Cal, bloke you work with, Jimmy Guy. 22.30, rocketed up into fifth spot.
He's in the fifth.
In the fifth.
And
I like it.
So he had Connor Rozee as well. So he would have enjoyed the Dr. Nick Morrell.
Now, for the week, though, we did have My Stick is Better Than Bacon. Right, that's Tom's team. Scored 23.95, so a big score, which has got them right up to 59th overall.
Yeah,
now.
nice score.
And then second place was at Hearns Stupid, James's team, up into the... 26.756 overall with that 23.90, so big. The Hat Watch, though, things have changed there a little bit. 100th spot, Pink Lloyd, and that's Oliver's team. So 16.165. Warn Dogs officially 300 points behind. Is that achievable?
Yeah.
Well, you just got to look at this week.
Yeah.
Yes,
if
it
you
is
can
achievable.
be on the right side of a big dog like Green and then the right side of a big dog like Zorko, huge shifts can happen.
Well, there's about 200 points.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's how those all look. You can check out your rankings and see how they are going over on the rankings page. All right, votes are in for the Michael Barlow Medal. That's our cash cow of the year and round 8.
Oh, my goodness. One of my favourite players this year has been Darcy Wilson, who gets 5 votes. He booted 3 goals to score 100 fantasy points, and he's now up over 300K from his starting price. He can keep playing on my field.
Colby McKercher is the new Sheezel, not a weasel, just a Sheezel, loving his role off half-back that saw him have 30 disposals and 99 points. He gets the 4 votes and found his way back into our teams, Roy, and we might even give him a snout.
A nice stat line of 18 disposals, 6 marks, 6 tackles and a goal helped Caleb Windsor to the highest score of his career so far with 99 points, and he gets the 3 votes.
Jeremy Sharp was the most traded out player last week, but those that held him were rewarded with 18 disposals, 10 marks and a goal for 86 fantasy points. For his effort, he receives the 2 votes.
Kyle Oman enjoyed the high possession footy in the Q clash, taking 6 marks and kicking a goal for 82 and the 1 vote.
All right, Matt Roberts remains on 21 votes at the top of the leaderboard, but Colby McKercher is trying to catch him with 15. Jeremy Sharp now on 13, and Darcy Wilson is up to 11.
Here's the news of the week you need to know on the official AFL Fantasy podcast.
Wow.
I need a big deep breath for this.
Yes.
There's a lot to talk about. Right, we are starting there. We'll almost go in a bit of chronological order, and we do have Connor Rozee, Cal. They've ruled him out for round 9, so you know that he's not playing this week.
It's an 8-day break, Roy. Surely he's going to be right after 8 days.
Well, he would be right for this one had they not done that half-assed effort on the Thursday night.
Hi, everybody. Yes.
He is, so he'll be out, and obviously a must trade then. You're not holding that, are you?
No.
No, especially with that score next to his name.
Yes, he's got to go. Yes.
Out of that game too, Mitch Georgiades iced up his knee, and Lockie Jones, a low-grade hamstring for him. So some watches on what that looks like prognosis-wise. Now, Zac Williams, Roy, he was subbed out, I think it was about three-quarter time or whatever, thought hamstring, but it wasn't.
No, he had a tight glute. So at this point in time, we sort of feel that's all it is, but it was restricting his movement. So, he had to get subbed.
So, tight glute and subbed.
He's been doing nothing after half-time as it is. And it's understandable given these last 24 months, but I don't know. I thought he'd start to be running games out by now, not getting subbed off. So most people would have traded him by now. And if you haven't, just do it regardless of if he's playing or not.
It's been a common problem. I think his glute really tightens up in that last half.
It does. Every week.
Yeah, it stops him from scoring.
Bo McCreary, concussion there for him. Then we get to Tom Green with that ankle. So happened in the first quarter. Looked bad. He looked sore too. Like his face grimaced a lot.
He did grim.
I thought it was the evil sin when I saw it.
So apparently not, and apparently now he's a test for this weekend.
Now,
he may play in round 9.
After the first time he injured it, he got up and kept playing.
Yes.
Right? So there's no issue there.
No, it would have been sore.
Would have been sore.
Swelling.
Yep, a little bit
And
tender.
I am a doctor.
Yeah, you know an ankle.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
It was so he was sore, but it was okay.
Yeah.
He kept going. Injured it again. Thing is, though, walked down the rooms, and I heard the commentator say, "Oh no, it's never a good sign when the physio returns, but the player doesn't." You know what? Yes, you spot on. So Tom stayed down in the rooms.
Yeah.
I honestly believe he plays this week. I think he plays.
Do you?
Yeah, I think he plays.
So he'll know
We need to
more
do
this
some
morning.
sourcing.
Yeah, he'll know more this morning.
Yep.
When he goes into the club, talks to the doctors, the physios, but it's not ruled out. But I'd say 50-50 at best.
We need to follow what he does with his fantasy team. That'll be the key to it.
Yes. No, Tom, he's very transparent. He looks after fantasy coaches. We will know.
Yep.
Tom McCartan, he copped a head knock there for the
Poor
Swans.
bugger. That sucked.
That was bad.
Speaking of head knocks, ex-Airy, he snores.
He needs a mask and a helmet.
He does.
Everything. Just put his head inside a box or something.
Yeah.
What a big ex-Airy. But he was right. He went out there, scored
Dominated.
27, I think it
What
was.
a legend he is.
He's good.
Yeah.
Cow, Clary Oliver went into the rooms early on, got his knee strapped up, but played on and played pretty bloody well.
He did. That's his ton.
He was excellent.
The ton that we needed to see.
We'll talk about it later, but that's the one we've been waiting for.
It is.
And there it is.
Now, Max Gone, he didn't have a great game for us as captain. It was a hard watch. Even went in and got his head checked by a jumbo jet.
Well,
but he
needed that. I could tell in the first 5 minutes he needed his head
Couple of
checked.
slaps around the face. Wake up, Max!
But he was good because he finished off, what was a 40-odd point
In the last
quarter.
year.
I expected 2 of those quarters, to be honest.
Same.
So it wasn't the captain that we really wanted, which most of the comp did.
Yeah.
Following Calvinator's awesome
Well,
advice.
he'd done nothing wrong to that point. And he showed in that last quarter why it was a good matchup.
Apparently, you don't get anything right, though, Calvin. I've seen some of the comments.
No,
I don't.
Of course you don't.
Hey, check my captains, mate. That's about the only thing I get right.
Tanner Bruin, he hurt his shoulder. Tom Stewart, Cow, you were quick on the message to me to tell me that Tom Stewart had done his quad.
See, was that even legit?
I don't know, because I was watching the Bombers.
I think I made that up. So just
really? He did go off, though.
You might want to double check that.
Just for a quick rest.
You're a prick.
Look, I needed
These are my
something.
notes.
You made it in the official news, Cal.
I needed something.
That's the best thing since the Burgoyne article.
No, in here it says he did get some work done on his quad, but I'm pretty sure it was nothing.
Just a normal rub. Right. An issue was, in that Bombers game that I was watching, was Elliot Yeo. Bit of a groin and subbed out. And we have mentioned, basically, it's a little bit of a... It was coming.
Oh, yeah,
we got through
definitely.
8 weeks of him.
Oh, he's been an outstanding pick. And the fact that he didn't do it like early in the game, sub 10, he made it past 50. Yeah. He's been great service to us. He's gone up in cash. If you didn't have other issues, now is a perfect time
time for the War Dogs to trade him.
Yeah,
So
to upgrade to an Uber Prem.
Including that injury, he averages 89.
Yep.
Which you're taking every day. He's gone up about 140k.
Yep.
And this is he dropped 20 this week.
Yep.
Probably his first drop this year.
Oh, definitely.
So he's just lined up beautifully.
He has.
He's done well. And he's going to rest, I think. They're going to Melbourne. They're playing against Collingwood on Mother's Day, actually, on Sunday.
Correct.
So I reckon he's staying home with some flowers and some chocolates.
And, I mean, hindsight's a great thing, but being, a doctor, I did think this week was the right week to rest him.
Yep.
Hi, everybody.
Yep.
I think they just got excited because it was what they would
200.
have seen as a winnable game at home.
Yep.
Well, it was a good matchup, dog.
It's a great matchup for him.
If he hadn't got injured, they would have won.
Too right.
Also, Harley Reid, if he didn't come off with a bit of Rozee.
Oh, God, I was worried about that. I was actually thinking
that was just adding to it.
I've gone in with like one red dot this week, and I was thinking I might have a donut next week. They were dropping like flies, my players.
So that was a bit of cramp, basically.
Thank
for
goodness.
Him. Probably a bit sore.
What
after he
about
fended off
Harley Reid putting those Essendon boys back in their box?
When
I
it's
must
Zac,
admit,
it's pretty
I did
big.
like that.
That's brutal.
It was.
I mean, Parrish should blow over in a stiff breeze,
Yes,
but to
yes.
get Merritt,
Get Merritt's a good one.
They had a couple of other issues there for the Eagles. Noah Long, a knee, and Jake Waterman's in concussion protocols after being the dominant forward in the
he's
competition.
a beast. Do you know, I got really pissed off in that game actually when they reversed that.
Oh, yes.
Because Waters is working that hard up there.
Yeah,
he's
and he
good.
took that awesome mark.
Yep.
Who was it? That poor man's chippy.
Duggan, wasn't
Crisp.
it? Oh, it was. It was. Yes.
Yeah.
It was him.
Silly.
Gave it away.
Should know better. Sorry, play on, dog. News.
Lots of news. Jye Caldwell in that game, Roy.
Oh, great.
Bit of calf tightness, they said.
Yeah, no injury again. Look, we spoke about it a lot at half time. He just had some calf tightness. He said, I'm absolutely fine, just a bit tight. He's a really important player for us, and it's just a no-risk approach. I mean, he started the third quarter. He felt fine. But it just became a decision that we had a like-for-like player in Hobbs as a sub, so we just, out of an abundance of caution, just subbed him off. But
Like you needed that.
indications are he'll be no problem next week.
Oh, at least he's playing next week.
Why? Because Dr. Jye said he was okay? Because Dr. Jye said he was all right at half time. Why didn't they listen to him?
Imagine going up to a player and going, how you going, mate? Are your calves tight? No, I'm actually fine. Nah, sorry. No, they're not.
Why?
Don't ask.
Why do the planets align the wrong way for me all the time in this game?
Unbelievable.
No early injury, a like-for-like sub. Dude said he was all right. Why? Why does this happen?
Meanwhile, Ned Kelly sitting over here. just dodging all these
the thing
bullets.
is, though, if we think about last year, the amount that I copped last year, it's just coming around the other way. That's what it is.
No one cares or even listen to what you said last year. No. You can't go back on, back in 2013. No. It's this year, it's present, it's now. You're dodging bullets. Have a look at yourself.
So I don't even know if I
should
can
try
claim
it
that
for
it's a
once.
bullet. He was on track for a ton and he
Yeah.
was subbed off.
That's a bullet.
Ouch.
But he wasn't even hurt though.
But you've lost 40 points there.
Well, that
I
gets us
certainly
through
lost
Saturday.
points.
Then another day comes, and that's called Sunday, and we get Sean Darcy, a bit of calf tightness. So again, no issue for him though. Like, it's just
Why are they doing
What
this?
is the sub rule sucks.
Do you know what?
That's half the problem.
Luke Jackson didn't really take advantage of that either.
No, he didn't.
With what he could have done. Sicily Cow dislocated his shoulder. He got back out there, had an ankle issue later in the game, but what a warrior.
Look, players need to look at sick
They
dog
do.
here, right? Dislocates the shoulder
Yep.
and goes back out with a bit of strap and tape on it.
Not held together literally.
Tightness.
Meanwhile, my calf's tight. Oh, get off. Come on. Look at the sick dog.
I did not know the sick dog was going to fly the flag for toughness.
Neither did I, Roy.
There's a lot of things that you can.
And he has.
You shouldn't actually look at sick dog for things.
Yeah.
in the world, but maybe that could be one.
Got his
Liver,
bark back.
Going to be interesting this
Ooh,
week.
yes.
So see where he's at with that now. Starcevic for the Lions was laid out in the warm-up with a calf, so that meant Logan Morris, who played a full game in the VFL, came in. Sharp
cool.
went into the 22 because Logan then became the sub, who wasn't obviously playing. But then they lost Darcy Gardner and Lincoln McCarthy, both ACLs by the sounds of it, so that's awful. Noah Ainsworth concussion. So
devastating.
they were a bit walking wounded there, the Lions, after that. Yeah, and I did just want to flag a couple of subs. Matt Kennedy, Roy, why didn't you pick that one on Thursday night?
Look, even the Marine, when he's in fine form, could not see that one coming.
No. And Toby Pink,
That's a random one to have.
There's another bullet for me.
but then Cow, your biggest bullet was Nat 5.
Oh, it's not really a bullet when you're covering it with Seth Campbell, mate.
MRO, a couple of things from that was Lockie Schultz has got a week, Callum Brown 3 weeks. We'll see more news and see anything out of the Sunday games later on today. A couple of Magoo's news worth mentioning. Our boy Riley Sanders, 27 disposals, 8 marks, 10 tackles, 125. Should get back in.
Of course
Should get back
Considering
in.
they lost to Hawthorn.
How does he not get back in? He should replace Bevo.
I'll tell you what, if Bevo is out this week, Riley could come straight back into your team.
Yep.
And you could downgrade someone like McRae to him.
Yes, you could.
Because you're going to get
100%.
a capable player.
Oh, McRae's in trouble regardless, isn't he?
So
I
Sandoz...
don't know if he's better to have a new coach or the old one, McRae.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Sandoz, a neat 500k, 501.
Could he get dropped?
McRae?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yep.
Yep, he could.
Lucky that Clark got subbed out, I reckon.
I reckon.
McRae could have been.
Oh, he had sub written all over him.
Didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Jackson Binns, 25 disposals, 4 marks, 8 tackles, 2 goals, and 127.
Binns, he
And
does
Luke
that.
Parker there in the VFL, 35 disposals, 2 marks, 3 tackles, a goal, and 109. Calvin Ada, why are you excited about
Well,
that?
I've called the death of the weasels, Roy, and did... Oh, no.
How'd you go?
They are dying.
No, they are a dying breed.
They
Two
are.
of them went sub 100.
Well, they're going to be extinct soon. So,
They are.
2 got under... Oh, what did Steele get?
Still got 100 on the dot.
Oh,
And it
nearly
was-
got 'em all.
It was a battle too.
Oh, my God.
That was a battle.
So, what would have been a couple of minutes before half time, he was sitting on 32 or something.
Oh,
And I was like, the weasel.
look at me pretending I didn't know.
But despite his heavy strapping,
Was a lot of tape.
he actually racked up the pill in the second half, surprisingly enough.
Right, let's look at the issues of this week, which we've just talked about all of them. But basically, most people are going to have a trade to do. So if you're going through...
A trade to do. Listen
A
to
trade.
Swaggy over there. A trade to
Right,
do.
let's go through them. Well, let's go the most obvious one of all. Elliot Yeo is probably the most popular of them all.
Yep.
Yes.
He just goes, you've got to do it. I think it's just timing to go. With that, most likely misses. I struggle to see that he plays this week.
Does not play this week.
All right, so we move him on. The next one's Calvinator. Maybe we go a bit chronologically. Rozee, been ruled out already.
Yeah, so he has
to go.
Yep.
So, obviously, a couple of poor scores, really.
Yep. Oh, yeah, no, he needs
Well,
to go.
no, actually, last week wasn't that bad because it was 89, wasn't it?
Yeah, his price is on the slide.
It is on the slide.
So, yeah, he needs to go as well. And then Green, I might have to end up holding, even if he does miss, as the least injured out of the 3.
Well, what would you... if you put your doctor's hat back on.
Yep.
You got the button there, Dom. If you got your doctor's hat on.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you. Perfect. He would be most likely to return next week, I reckon.
Yeah, okay.
1 week off, then back.
So, yeah, they're three big concerns.
So that's who you would have to hold out of the three.
Yep. Okay.
And I guess there's a couple others that you throw in there. You know, Zac Williams probably needs to go. If he was on your field, you've got to do something about that, I reckon.
Caldwell, you got to hold now.
Yep. Yeah, and he'll be right, I reckon.
You'd think so.
As long as we don't cop any of these other things. And then people are going to have, like I've seen a couple of people with liver, for example. Yes. And there's a couple that could be floating there that might just be one of those ones that rear their head during the week.
Yeah, McRae will get dropped.
Oh, gosh.
The thing is, though...
And some of our rookies are honestly in that trouble. Like, you know, Harvey Thomas, for example, ended up being sub on the weekend. And
trouble.
There's going to be a few there like that.
Yeah.
So, defender or mid being traded out actually doesn't really matter because you should be able to get Yeo to a midfielder for a bit of DPP.
And is that your preferred move or...
I think so, but there are some straight defenders, and we'll get to them in a moment, that have a lot of value.
There's so much relevant DPP at the moment that you could move them to any position, to be honest.
Yes.
But, yes, I think there is relevant defenders available this week.
All right, where are we shopping then?
Well, we've got the top bracket there, which is the guys in the high 900s area.
Yeah.
You got your Serongs, your Dawsons, your Gouldens, those kind of guys.
Yes.
Chuck in a Walsh and an Anderson as well. Out of those guys, Warren, I know this is where you're shopping. Who's your pick?
And it's easy to say this after a 140, but Serong. But the reason I like him, and I did even like him this week as one of my targets, was because he's got that bye.
Yes.
The round 13 bye is going to be a bit of gold, I think, as long as you haven't already gone hard there. But if you are moving on a Rozee, it was the reason that you had... Well, one of the reasons that you had him was because of that bye, wasn't it? So,
yes.
So Serong's a good move to him.
That's a segue into Butters then, who's about... he's a little bit cheaper, so he's at 923. Wicked run coming up for him. Unlike you'll ever see, Roy. It goes Geelong, Hawthorn, North Melbourne. So they are the three easiest teams for midfielders to score against.
So he's going to have a field day.
And he has that good buy as well.
So
he's a prime target.
He's a prime target.
Are you considering that then, V8?
I'm not in that bracket.
It costs you too much, doesn't it?
Yeah. And that's the worst thing about an injury. An
injury on 7.
And he went down. So Green dropped
74 or something.
Yeah, 78k.
78.
So you're looking at guys who are performing well, like a Serong, who just went up X amount.
Yeah.
So you're going to need nearly 100 plus based on what they were last week.
A traditional downgrade upgrade to get $1 million man to someone decent.
People get angry with the score. You also need to get angry at the price.
Yeah, so don't be happy.
While you're talking about that buy then, Brayshaw, Roy, could you recommend Brayshaw for anyone at 904k?
It's cheap. It's
cheap for what he can do.
I got him at 930 thinking it was cheap, and now he's 900. So it's still definitely cheap for what he can do. The thing was, though, he obviously looked a bit better because Fife was in the vest. So he had more access to his CBAs. He didn't just flounder at half forward like he tends to do. The thing about him resting at half forward is even if he marks it 40 metres out, he's no threat to make the distance to goal. So it's like he's quite a waste of space when he's resting at half forward.
So basically, you could say with him, though, he's had 7 out of 8 really good quarters in recent weeks. Just that bad one, which didn't quite tick him over the line.
Yeah, true. So he's an option. He is a good price, yeah.
Nick Daicos, cheaper than that at 885.
Been a target the last couple of weeks, and I think that after the weekend, that's where it has been a nice tick.
We've been waiting for a score, and so just a few 90s. He's got West Coast this week. Under the roof, which is quite interesting. And obviously Parrish dominated them last week, so...
He should be very good.
He should be good. Might be my captain, I reckon, this week.
Just wait. Just wait, mate. I'll let you know what you're doing with it. I haven't put a foot wrong yet with captains.
Haven't put a foot wrong yet.
Maybe a couple of feet. Have straight away. Anyway.
Your size 8 feet.
The same price, roughly, Rory Laird.
Mm-hmm.
We're not... Are we?
He's a hard read, isn't he? He was good again on the weekend. He hit triple figures, coming off a really good one the week before. I think you'd probably go to Daicos over Lairdy.
Yep. My trade this morning when I was flicking around was Darcy Parish. I'm not a big fan of it. 847, coming off a 107 and a 147. Yeah. He's got North Melbourne and Richmond coming up in about in a couple of weeks' time.
GWS this week, though. Is
yeah.
that an issue?
No, that's not an issue.
So the reason I loved Parish was more about getting him for that West Coast matchup.
Yep.
But he's still a good option at that price.
For what he can do.
Like, obviously, he had 147. A matchup doesn't put an extra 40 points on it, or even 50 points on it from where he's priced.
He looked back to medal-winning Parish.
Yeah, so he went up 35K. So last week he was a bargain. This week we'll still count him as a bargain at under 850.
That Richmond game's got a medal too.
Here's one, Roy. Jack Sinclair. Same price, basically, $1,000 less. He's defender only, so you could use that with your Yo. Coming off a 108 against Port, a 156 against North Melbourne, and he's got Hawthorn, Freo, Melbourne, and West Coast coming up.
And then the Suns,
And then the Suns.
Zork.
You see what Zork did.
On his fork in that one. I like Sinclair, to be honest. I'm Sinclair over Parish, and Sinclair is someone who I am seriously considering.
Is it Sinclair over Daicos?
It is for me at the moment, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's 40K
bit
difference.
cheaper, but yeah.
He played pure midfield on the weekend, so 72% CBAs, up from his 27, his 24 he had before that. He's just in the guts.
I just love him too. Like, his work rate and stat stuffing ability, like he has marks and tackles.
7 tackles, 9 marks, 2 goals, 33 touches.
So he is a real stat stuffer. I like him, and he just works so hard all the time.
They've got a great draw coming up. Wanganeen Miller's got a good draw coming up as well, but he's like 820, 819. Bailey Dale.
He's cheap.
Like, he did enough for people to be very happy last week. He went quiet. He did. So he didn't do
Bulldogs somewhere you just don't want to buy into. Is that another factor?
That is another factor. But his role in that is great. But last week he was a mega bargain. Now over 8, it's just not quite as tasty.
So you pay the extra 40 to get to Sinclair?
I would.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think he had 75 at the half.
Yeah, he did.
He was on track for another 150.
He was smoking.
All right, you've snuck him in, Roy. Locking Neil.
Well, I had to. Oh, that 137. It's an anomaly.
So out of that game, like, is it because of the possession football they played because they had no rotations?
And because they had no competition.
Last night?
Yeah, he's spot on. Obviously, they had no bench, so they just kept the ball in control. That was their rest.
And they were dominating it too.
Yeah, they just did what they wanted. But, I mean, it can't be ignored when a guy who's averaged 90-plus forever is priced at 781, coming off his 137. The reminder has to come that previous to that, when they played proper teams at 62, 75, 83, which means as much as we love the name and what he can do and what he's just done,
I couldn't do that.
We don't go there.
Some other names still to come, though, that might be worth having a look at.
Tom Stewart, Warren?
No.
Pass.
Don't do that.
All right.
It's bloody cheap, though.
It is cheap. Dylan Moore, 750.
Should have got him instead of Baker.
So 116 he did save it with a 56-point last quarter.
That's a pretty big quarter.
But before that, he had a 114.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a good player. And he doesn't need... Okay, so my reason for getting Baker was the role, and I didn't get that wrong because I think he had the most CBAs.
His role was great.
But Moore doesn't need that to score.
No.
And he's got a couple of nice matchups coming too.
It's really hard for me to tick off buying into a forward for Hawthorn. Now, they were great on the weekend, and he was outstanding, but it was against absolute rabble.
Well, I didn't have that in my calculations either. Like, I didn't think the Bulldogs would be that bad.
No.
Or Hawthorn that good. I don't know which way it went.
All right, we've got 2 more to talk about, and these guys
This is better shopping if you're
this
looking
is
at
cheap. So for 729, we've got Soligo.
Well, it ticks a lot of boxes, this one. So it doesn't have the boxes that the likes of Neil does, who's averaged, 110 in the past. But Soligo has got, history as a kid.
Yep.
He has got the right age, and he's been finally thrown the keys.
He has.
With the speed in the midfield for the Crows, and it's working a lot better for them. Like, they're winning games with him in there. He was amazing.
He was.
On the weekend, and for that price, he's probably the pick of the bunch. Now, we thought a couple of weeks ago when he was it looked like it was going to happen, and Lairdy told us it was going to happen when we interviewed him. It looked like we'd missed the bargain 2 weeks after that.
Yep.
But now, given these injuries and stuff have occurred, you're now shopping in these areas again, and he remains underpriced.
I love it.
And he's got the round 15 bye, which is the last one.
Yeah.
So you could be moving him on there. We need to talk about Clary Oliver.
And this is my favourite. If you are shopping budget, I saw enough.
722,000.
Ridiculous.
It's so
He's
cheap.
$1 million man.
He is.
So that 106 came in a very easy matchup for midfielders versus Geelong. They hand out points in there willy-nilly. The reminder, like I did with Neil, is he is coming off 65, 53, 47.
Yeah.
He's cheap for a reason. So that's his first ton, I think, since round 1.
All right, so hang on. Here we go. Let's split them. Soligo or Oliver? If you had to bring one in this week.
I'm an old man. I will go Oliver.
I'm going Soligo.
I'm going Soligo.
I like Oliver's run coming up.
Yeah, but I could play in those games and I'm still not going to touch it. I think I need another one from Oliver. I think we've seen 3 really good ones from Soligo.
Yeah.
I think he can be a 95 guy for the rest of the year at a minimum. Whereas Oliver, I'm just not sold yet.
No, I need to see a bit more.
Wow. A lot of names there that we have discussed. One that I did want to throw out there, and we talked about him a bit in the last couple of weeks, and that is Jordon Sweet.
Sweet.
So got that basically role because Soldo's out for a little bit.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a month or so.
Yes.
Might be nice if you can get through to those buys, because that would be the perfect sort of timing for any of that. He scored 88.
Yeah.
Now, coaches have gone down some different paths
They have.
with this one.
And some are right, and some you have to say probably wrong in the end.
So some people went the 3 rucks to start with, and that is going Grundy, Gawn, and X-Airy.
Yeah.
Now, that probably went pretty well because
good.
you're
Yes,
making
it's fine.
coin. You're making coin.
A heap of it.
Timing of this was nice to dump one of them
Yeah.
to Sweet to keep your cash gen going on your bench.
Yeah.
I would have found it hard to choose who to dump.
Same.
Oh, you're never going to get it
Even
right,
this
are
week,
you?
it would have, the right one, not the right one to dump, but Max had the lowest score out of the 3 of them.
Yes.
So that was the thing. The other blokes had decent scores.
They did.
So that's all right. And maybe and the other move was to make him your R2. And again, that would have been hard to have chosen. I was all in on giving people the tick if they had Marshall.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, you had Jack Hayes coming in, Marshall's banged up, but Marshall goes out there and still scores 117 in the end.
So given the cash gen, can you tick that one?
Yeah, I think it's okay. What you've bought into, though, you now need Sweet to be
That would be a nervous watch every week now, I
You
reckon.
want him to be going that 85, 90 at a minimum.
And you don't want to see Marshall do a 130.
No, it's a tough one. But to get through to that buy, I guess, is the key for that one now. But yeah, choosing who you were trading out. Marshall, I gave the tick to. But if you traded X or Grundy, is that a...
No, that's a cross. They really shoved it right up him. Didn't they?
Well, yeah, Grundy definitely did.
Yeah.
It's about 50 points difference.
Yeah, well, and then X was only,
7
7 points less?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
still
So those two
on your head.
But that's
that
just
would
for
have been
1
hard
week.
to watch.
That's just for 1 week.
Yeah.
It is, but that's what you've got to look at now. You've got to watch that.
Yes.
And it's going to be a bit of a
And the
nervous
thing is, like, you
the
can...
cash gen's going to be good.
We've looked at the cash gen and the points on the week there. You've got to factor in that it's going to cost you 2 trades as well. Like, you have to get him in and you're going to have to get him out.
Yep.
There's a lot going on with that.
Early doors for round 9 trades. We have got Nick Daicos, the most traded in player. And that's a great call because he should be good this weekend. Clary Oliver, number 2 on the list. My man Bruce Reville. Breville is in at 3. Kauchadir after his 67. And then Caleb Serong. They're the most popular players traded in. A couple of other names worth noting there are Lockie Sullivan, who came on as sub, so he scored 57. Looks pretty good, I reckon, and might have a little bit of job security for a little bit as players to bring in. And people are buying into Zorko as well, Cal, a little bit further down the list.
Oh, good luck to him.
That's a lot of money. The most traded out so far, Elliot Yeo, pretty obvious one there. And then Connor Rozee, so both of those guys are likely to be missing this week. Tom Green's on the list. Matt Roberts, who was not very good for us on the weekend and basically going backwards in price now, and Zac Williams also there. I guess some of the rookies too, you've got a bit of Ollie Dempsey action, Seth Campbell, Harvey Thomas, Riley Sanders, some of those names. So we're trying to grab some cash from those guys and then put them on top of others. That's where it's looking. Who wants to tell us what they're doing? Cal, you've got the most issues, don't you?
I nearly had everyone on that traded out list there, Roy. Yeo will go to Sinclair for me.
I like it.
And Rozee, because I'm going to need a little bit of coin to do that, Rozee will go to Saligo.
Okay.
That's how I'm doing it.
All right, I'm going Yeo to Sinclair as well. And then at this stage, watching Green very closely, but he will go to Saligo if he doesn't get up.
All right. I'm lucky. I'm going Robert to Peatling, who I didn't mind, and if he can keep that role, which he could do there,
especially if Green's out.
Oh well, and then that gets Yeo to Serong for me. So that's where that move can go. Because, I had a heap of defenders in my midfield, so it's nice to be able to chuck them back. Yeo can do what his job was.
It's also nice when you don't get any bullets,
isn't it? Must be.
Wow,
superior coaching. There's no luck in this game at all, Calvinator. All the good luck for the Warn Dog.
Got a question for the traders? Tweet the boys at AFL Fantasy or head to facebook.com/AFL Fantasy official.
Lots of people got questions because there are a lot of things going on. All right, let's have a look here. Sam's got this one. With Yeo most likely a forced trade, hoping to hold Green, should I move Closey or Graham back to D6 and boost the midfield, or do a direct swap for a defender? Who are the best options? We've talked about those. But what would you do in that case? Would you roll with a Closey or Graham, so one of them playing as your D6? Is this a little bit like our forward discussion? You might as well let them...
Look, you could.
And get a midfielder instead.
And they've got good matchups coming up in North Melbourne and Geelong, who give up the most points to midfielders. The concern is, are we worried about Darwin?
There has to be some worry. So that's this weekend. They play 2 games up there.
Yes.
North Melbourne into
Geelong.
That's right.
So
it's
Thursday. I don't know. It is something that needs to be flagged. Gets very slippery up there if you're relying on a heap of marks and stuff like that.
We've just seen, remember the Rat Pasta last year? They didn't enjoy Darwin. They didn't enjoy Darwin.
Heading into Darwin, and they were awful coming out, weren't they?
They were.
So that is the flag.
It is a flag.
That could definitely happen.
So I guess the question is, I do like those defender options though. If Yeo was going to Daicos, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
To Sinclair,
So
that's nice.
I think forward line, I am now happy with having up to 2 rookies on there.
I think I've cooked my team because of that.
Yeah.
now.
Yep.
And it's not because they're super good. It's because the gap between them and these so-called fallen premium or mid prices is so small that, like, in the back line, you could be getting at the moment Daicos, Sinclair, underpriced. I like the thought of having a loaded up back line.
I think some people, and we did the same, we've rushed to get those guys out of our forward line.
Yeah.
I don't think it should have been that big of a rush for us.
No, it shouldn't have.
Because I got rid of Dempsey this week and got in McRae, and I got an extra 6 points.
We would be better off having Dempsey and Wilson and have done some work elsewhere.
And even Harley Reid. You could have 3.
Happily roll those through there.
You could.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Harley Reid, Sam's got this one. Is Harley Reid a bit cooked? Well, it wasn't very fair what he did to Zac. But no. Is it a play to bring Wilson back for him? Improve the bottom end forward scores? No, I think you might as well roll with Harley. He had a rest last week.
Yeah.
So.
And we saw him have a couple of 80s before his game on the weekend.
Yep.
I think I'm happy with Harley just sitting there.
He's never going to be the best fantasy player, though, is he?
No.
So, he scored 4 points in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's after his rest. Found his feet. He scores a 20, a 21, and yes, he had a 10 in the last. But if he has that first quarter as a 15 or a 20, then he's up around that 65, 70 mark.
Yeah. So, I mean, gosh, if you're choosing out of him and Wilson, if you had them both, you'd be putting Wilson on over Reid, but I don't think you'd trade into it, would you?
No, I don't think so.
Nice comment here from East Infection. After that round, is anybody actually at number 1, or is it just an empty void for the first 2 spots? Does feel like that. Leanne, who is over in Kansas, I've had a terrible overall ranking all season, but great cash gen. I've just bought home a 230 weekly rank and potentially only have Yeo to worry about for injury.
Well done.
Killing it.
So this feels like a chance to be aggressive and make up some ground. Strategy suggestions. I guess.
Go hard.
This week. Get you don't need to go point of differences. Just get the players that you really want.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Especially if your cash gen's been there and working well.
Smash a big upgrade out for Yeo and see what happens.
That'd be good. Is it a then that probably goes back to that other question. Is it a midfielder or?
Well, I think it is, but if you don't have Daicos and even Sinclair, you don't have to get pretty with it. But if you want to get one of the big dogs, like you said, Serong, he's got that good buy. He's got a high ceiling. I don't mind going there at all.
Man, he's a Fremantle supporter. Probably already got Serong, but
exactly.
If not, grab him.
Oh, it's team dependent, dog.
William, could you rank McKercher, Sweet, and Peatling as targets this week?
Colby number one.
Yeah.
Colby's number one.
Peatling at what, 444, wasn't he?
He's cheap.
Peatling, he's a great get this week. If Green's out, Peatling is a good pick.
One little comment that I had, and our man Dayan, who is in free fall just quietly.
Oh, not again.
No. God, don't laugh about it, Calvin. That's not fair.
No, I'm not laughing about it.
He
But
was
this
up
is
30th overall, and
Yeah, where is he now?
he might still win the top 1,000.
You know what happened?
Oh,
you know what happened? He
as bad
started
as
hitting
me.
up dog for individual advice.
Oh,
Anyway,
Didn't need to.
dog
Dayan
doesn't cut the mustard when
He
it
does
comes
not.
to
He
advice.
does not.
say this and said that Peatling was part of our midfield that was soundly beaten. I'm probably paraphrasing, but that's what it sounded.
Oh, well, that's not ideal.
No.
The thing is, what more could you want from him? He laid 8 tackles. I think he hit the scoreboard. If Green's not there, I think Peatling is a good look, surely.
He had bulk time in there, didn't he? So that's 2 weeks in a row. 63% this week, 42% last
But
week.
I mean, he's right. They were soundly beaten, but it's not his responsibility to be the number one man in there.
No, it's not.
No fence sitting for Manny here. Once I work out this carnage, who's more of a priority to get in, Serong or Daicos? Who's your priority?
I think it's Daicos.
I guess
a
it's
bit of
still a
price
value
between them
game.
now. Yeah.
I guess it's still a value game. So the answer is probably Daicos with his nice matchup. But Serong ticks a lot of boxes regarding ceiling and that buy. Adds a little bit of weight to it.
And captaincy.
Yeah.
Always an option.
Yeah. But the professional in me,
Yeah,
you know, I'm
it's
very
a fair bit of
professional,
coin.
says
Professional.
Daicos.
Expert, you are?
Both.
Yep.
All of the above.
Do you know that triggers a few people when we just call ourselves experts?
That's why we keep saying it.
All right.
Who calls me an expert?
No
No
one.
one does, right?
Us if we're trying to trigger people. For fun.
You're a captain picking expert, Calvin.
I am.
Well, yeah, well,
Yes,
that
I
you
am.
are. Now, that's not even a joke.
That's not a joke.
You are an expert at that.
Expert.
Name a better pirate that picks captains. You can't.
Can't do it.
You can't do it.
Mutiny. Now, let's go rate the following trade-ins. Maybe give a little one-word answer. Give them out of 10 how much you'd like to bring them in.
Okay.
Parish.
We're taking value and everything
Yeah.
into consideration.
7.
8.
Daicos.
9.
9.
Oliver.
4.
4.
Oh. More.
3.
5.
No, I was asking for more points. No. Well, Sinclair.
9.
9.82.
So Sinclair over Daicos is what you're saying.
I've
Yes.
gone 9.9. So now I have to adjust slightly. 9.2 to Sinclair.
Okay.
Kicked it. What do we put ourselves through this torture?
I don't know.
That's a good question. It is a very good question.
Like I was sitting on the couch on the weekend downstairs and I had a tear, I had a cry.
No,
right?
don't blame me.
Right. And I was thinking the same thing. Like, I don't have to play.
No.
No one's standing behind me, poking me with a stick going, Cal, yes, you're amazing at this.
And you are an expert.
And you're an expert.
Yeah.
We do have a contract now, so
we do
We actually do have to, but everyone else, I don't know. I don't know.
Look, that not one part of the weekend was fun except for Zorko right at the end. Why can't that happen at the start, Roy?
I'm not sure.
How different would you eat? No, if you had have had, no, that helped you.
It helped me get here today. I'll give you that tip.
So, actually, that's an interesting thing to think about, though. If you started on cloud 9
Yes.
with Zorko, and then these other guys wrecked, you had the chance to have your first good round ever
Yep.
if it started with Zorko.
Yep.
And then the other guys just chipped
I would have
away
loved
and
you
wrecked it for-
becoming this
How dare you
shell
be
of a
happy?
human.
How dare you be happy?
This shell of a human by Sunday night.
I think I would like drink less on a weekend if I started well.
I don't know. You would have come home like a steam train if it went in reverse.
Challenge accepted.
Who goes first out of Powell, Lukosius and Yeo? Well, Yeo probably.
Yeo,
Lukosius needs to go. He's no good.
No,
now.
he's not.
No.
I think we can back in Yeo. Not back in Yeo. Back in Powell. And back in's not the right word.
No, back him in for his 70s.
Yeah.
But we're going to take that. We've got to stop pounding on these blokes for scoring 70 in our forward line.
No, we just should never have gone there. Now we just have to accept.
So if
you guys made your official apology last week, didn't you? About Lukosius?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Right.
Yeah, I did.
Just making sure of that.
Dayan, I'm sorry.
Oh, see? Oh, no! See, this is what's happened.
Yeah.
Dayan, why has he hit him up? Dayan,
No, I've got nothing to say.
No, Dayan's got our numbers as well. But he goes to you.
Yeah.
You are
I'm
not
sorry.
an expert.
No,
You're
I'm
an
not.
expert at destroying.
No, he's always thinking about his rank. Anyone ranked higher that he can
He was the next
take
elephant.
down.
I'll take him down.
All right, do we trust Bailey Dale here?
Yeah, man. He's still a value pick.
He is.
And his role is great, and he should still be really good. I mean, 75 at half time. That's awesome. But, I mean, he had 30 in the second half.
Yeah.
That means he's always been about a 90s guy. I think he's probably a 95 to 100 guy this year in a career best year. So that's still value for his price, but given the uncertainty at the Dogs, you're buying into a bit of risk there.
You are.
Daniel says we need the sub rule to be changed so that injured players can be replaced, like for Green.
Okay.
Your emergency.
I
This might
understand
be a
this.
discussion in the buy rounds.
Yeah, we can talk about this, but I just want to touch on it very quickly. I don't want it to change, right?
Yeah.
I like the fact
You
that...
like the pain.
I like the pain.
Yeah.
I like the fact that someone else can get pain.
Yeah.
I like the fact that I can watch a player...
Usually swings and roundabouts.
Yeah, and that's a part of it.
Yeah.
We've got to remember this is a game. Not all games go by the way in which we expect it to be.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not a game.
What if you could put 23 players on your field and your bottom score drops off every week because you've got a sub? They were subbed off. You call them subbed off.
Okay. Nah.
But it's a sub rule. It's in the actual game.
But you want the
So it
sub
makes
rule
it more-
gone.
I do. That's my number one priority.
Yeah.
But if it's not, why don't we just sub one off? And that would save a lot of heartache and a lot of drinking.
Yeah, I think...
In your case.
Yeah. I think this is a conversation for another day.
All right, but people need to be vocal. You can't sook about it now,
Yes.
and then the end of year survey comes up, and you say, "Yeah, rolling lockout's cool, sub. Yeah, wicked." It's your own fault.
And at the end of the day, it all comes back to what Warnie says. So
Wish I had that power.
you do.
So do I with this
Yes.
one, actually.
Oh, imagine that.
Yep. I'd go to a Saturday lockout. That's what I would do.
First thing we'd have to do is get a bigger door because his head would be even bigger than what he is.
Agree.
No more power
Jeez,
to the dog.
he swagged in here this morning, didn't he?
How do I swag in here today?
Same way that he dodged bullets all weekend. Yes.
Wow.
Conor McGregor action.
He did.
Why'd you swag in here, V8? Because you cracked 2,000 in the end.
I was pumped.
Yeah. Wait, what moment did you find out that extra handball counted and it got you over the milestone?
This morning when I was fiddling around with my trades.
Oh, my goodness. How'd you feel about yourself? A little bit taller?
I was pretty excited.
Yeah.
Would you pick Luke Ryan for Malcolm over Daicos? We disrespect.
No,
Ryan.
because there's something going on with the peroxide hair. Now, it was working for him on the weekend. He was great. He is great, and he is disrespected. But no, I'm still going Daicos.
But yeah, similar price.
Yeah,
He's going at 104,
yeah, he's an absolute beast,
isn't he?
He's more likely to have a quiet one than Daicos.
So he has that good buy. He's got Sydney this week, which is a tough matchup. Then he goes St Kilda, Collingwood, Melbourne.
Charlie, should we be worried about Nat Fyfe?
Oh, hell
That's
yeah.
actually positive, isn't it, that he had the sub?
Well,
he
it's
plays
positive.
through to his buy now, I
It's
reckon.
positive that it's gone, but he's now been subbed twice.
Yeah, and price.
The price
But then
is
again,
not-
it's a Ford.
Yeah. And someone like Caldwell, if he gets subbed out with a tightish calf, the day Fyfe has a tightish calf,
Yeah.
he's going straight off, isn't he?
Oh, my whole forward line with him and Zorko there, that's just got danger written all over it. But the fact that he's had his bye, he's had his sub, is a little bit positive.
At least 3 weeks.
That he should be right for a couple more.
Last one is Roberts. Would you get rid of him for McKercher? Would you do that sort of sideways trade?
So that's the trade I made
last week.
And
made some coin.
Colby was going into a luscious matchup.
Now he goes to Darwin.
Yeah. Mind you, he didn't take many marks.
No.
So
those handballs that
he doesn't really need them. He should still be fine. I just think maybe it's 1 week late on that.
Potentially, but the Suns, don't forget what the Lions just did to them.
Yeah.
So if Colby can embrace his inner Zorko,
which he has got in
him. So you'll make 100K from your Roberts to Colby.
Oh, well, that could be done then.
90.
One's moving in the right direction.
I think so.
Yeah.
Dion just sent us an email, actually, saying how good their league is. So the Spud Cup that they've got, rankings, 30th, 345th, 972, 969, heap of guys right up there. Heaps in the top couple thousand. So they are doing well as a group. They do have their bottom 8. They call that the Spud Cup.
Yeah.
And the winner of the Spud Cup gets a potato sent to them in the mail. And their entry fee back. So that's not bad.
That's cool. Right.
We do like to hear how different leagues do their thing. So
they're doing it very well.
Very cool. Thanks very much for tuning in. Good luck this week navigating all of your moves that you need to make. There will be some good ways to find out what to do, like by reading Roy's Wednesday stock take.
It's always good.
Calvin, you'll have even some more advice there on Thursday in Fantasy Ready.
Bit of Fantasy Ready, dog.
Where you cut and paste my good bits and put it in yours.
Do not.
We'll have our round preview video out on Thursday. Lots of cool stuff on social, including, Roy, your little reel clips of the top 3 tips are on point.
They're getting some magnificent numbers. I think people are watching it for the wrong reason. There's a footy show. I won't say which one it is, but I watch it through sheer addiction to the awkwardness and crapness of it. Yeah. And I think that's why people are watching mine. I tell you what, it's edited well. It's just the talent in it is
Billy's
untalented.
doing an awesome
and
job.
can I just say as well, I don't cut and paste your bits. I cut, paste and edit.
Well, that's very fair. I'll take that.
All right, thanks very much for tuning in. Yep, good luck with those trades. And Roy,
good luck and happy trading.
Oh, yeah.